And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. And that is why.
Ladies and gents, welcome back. I'm out in the woods because I've had too much of this. I can't handle this. What are we hearing? The mother of all conspiracy theories, the digital ID, the thing that is never gonna happen. That's absolutely never gonna happen. Well, it just happened. It's happening, and they're implementing it in the UK. Do you think that's gonna be just for the UK? Not for a second do I believe that. No, not at all. Not at all. And that's right. Yeah, no, I'm breaking the law in Nova Scotia. I'm out in Nova Scotia just busting the laws. No, I'm just kidding, folks. I'm here in my studio on a treadmill. This is how I get my steps in because, I mean, workaholic, right? That's the way it goes. I hope everyone brought a wobbly pop for this evening. Let's get into this live stream. It's going to be good. Chat, come on over here. Get on over. There we go. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be another great Friday. Oh, my goodness. Has been so many other Fridays. Apologies right out of the gates. We didn't have a Friday live last week. No, that's right. I was at the We Unify conference in Calgary, the Reclaiming conference, and it was fantastic. TGIF, Jilly Beans. That's right. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good Friday. Get your wobbly pops and everybody bottoms up. Let's have a good cheers right at the beginning of the stream here. That's so good. Chat is tonight's guest. That's right. Because it's Friday. Who knows? We never know what might happen here. I have it set up so a guest can come in, but I don't have anyone planned. So never know. But the main purpose of the Friday night live streams is a give back to the community. This is how we keep this community going, because if we want to be in touch with each other, then this is how we got to do it. Now, I also put something out on Twitter just the other day, and holy cow, did I get a lot of responses from that. Now, I put this out because I wanted to see more different things on Twitter, because, you know, you get used to your Twitter stream and the way things have been going. Oh, by the way, G-Meister, thank you so much for that. The Discord server link is right there in the chat if you want to join the Discord server. I know I've been talking a lot of smack about Discord, and that's not going to stop because of what's been going on that website. But nonetheless, they do have the best voice and video chats, and we like to hang out there at the end of the night. Ours is a, I guess, right-leaning, conservative, libertarian server. So you're not going to get like left-wing nut jobs that are conspiring to kill people and stuff, but you'll definitely get a lot of fun people in there. So when we're done with the live stream, this is a thing that we do every week. Every week we head over to the Discord chat, and then we have some wobbly pops. We talk about the things that are happening right now and get going with this whole community aspect of it. And like I said, Friday's shows are about the community, and so is afterwards, the after party, as we go and we hang out. If you want to bring things up in the community, you want to meet some other members of the community, or you want to ask me a question yourself, come on into the Discord after this. This server is highly guarded. We have zero tolerance for bots or trolls, and if you want to join, you're not going to get harassed by any of that stuff. And we like to be kind in the server. In fact, so much so, it's so closely guarded a secret that we don't give anyone else the link except you guys here on Friday nights, and those links expire. So if you're not here on the Friday live streams, you're not getting into the server. It's just like that. not making a buck out of it or any of that stuff. I just want to make it so it's for the community, it's for the people that want to chat, and that's the right way to do this. I think, in my estimate, I'm seeing chats are kind of differing from one side to the other. I think I set it to live chat. It is set to live chat. I got this one set to top chat. How did I get that one like that? Put that to live chat, and the one in StreamYard, I don't know where that's coming from, but it's kind of all over the place with this one. What is this? Lightning Rod says everyone knows right-wing radicalism is far the most violent. Yeah, right. Whoa, yeah, exactly. Not quite. Always liked Clyde's laugh. Thank you, Ned Tunes. I saw earlier that this is the first time back in a live stream chat in a long time. Awesome. Glad to see that. Glad to see you're back. Glad to see so many people. Friday night Discord link. Yes, that it'll be in the chat from time to time. Moderators are definitely going to take care of that one as much as possible. Right out of the gates, Nitro with a $2 super chat says, "You like that PBO report? Not surprising at all." No, not surprising whatsoever, actually. It's not surprising how much money they're blowing and how much our kids are going to have to pay back. Now, I think this is criminal. I honestly think this is criminal, and I don't know how you could legislate this away. I don't know what kind of legislation you could write to change this, but it's definitely a thing where... Why we got Bumblebee too? Reminded me of Ace Ventura. But this is something I know the U.S. tried to put it in place by making a debt ceiling. Now in Canada, there's no debt ceiling. It's just like you get a big waggy finger from the opposition if you go over budget. That's about all it is, really. You get a waggy finger, and if there's enough parliamentarians, then they'll vote against it. And then you get an election. You go to an election, which I disagree with altogether. I'm very fervent on this idea now. I think that should be like the United States, and I think Argentina is in the right direction with that. Going in the direction of you have to have scheduled elections, and before every election, there has to be a primary in every party. That needs to be a thing. If we can't get rid of party politics, well, let's bring the independents into party politics and make it so, yeah, we can primary those people out if they're just doing what it is that they're doing. It's what's this, 128 trillion dwarfs everything else on Earth. Yeah, and it's like I've said this many times before, the environmentalists should be against this the most. Absolutely. Environmentalists should be the ones yelling this one from the treetops, because that's where they like to hang out. No, because it's the environment that you're ruining. But the problem is environmentalists don't understand economics, and if they did, they'd be on our side about this one. And I think we should do our best. Absolutely, do our best to go teach people economics in this particular instance. Tamara, welcome to the chat. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. But in this particular instance, if we were able to get through to environmentalists, I think we could have them on our side, at least on some issues. I know they're mentalists, right? But maybe we could put the logical back in ecological, right? Just throwing it out there. And here's the step to do that. You talk to them and you say, listen, the economy. What is the economy? The economy is all the goods and services that are out there available to consume. That's what it is. The economy is that. What is money? Money is a representation of that. Absolutely. And if you print more money, you don't get more money. You just get numerically more money. But you're taking the same loaf of bread and you're just slicing it more times. Well, what happens, you just get thinner and thinner slices of that same loaf, right? And the economy is the same way. Money is just a representation of all the goods and services that are available. That's it. That's what it is. Now, if you're borrowing and you're borrowing into the future, into the future, into the future for so long, what you're doing is you're saying, well, there are some things that are still in the ground. There are some things that are still growing or haven't even started to grow. We haven't even planted it yet. And those things, well, we don't want to wait for that to happen until we can get it out of the ground. We don't want to wait for those things. We want to have it now. So we're going to spend money now. That's right. We're going to take out a debt on the future, and we're going to spend that now. But we're going to make a promise that in the future we're going to take more stuff out of the ground. We're going to produce more wealth. We're going to produce all these other things. Now, environmentalists are saying, well, we want to reduce the amount that's coming out of the ground. We want to reduce the amount that you got to chop down and all these other things. Well, there's no way to reduce those amounts when they're spending in the moment, because that's a promise that later you're going to do all those things and you got to live up to it. You can't default on it. Someone still got to pay the piper at the end of the day. That's the way it works. Who pays back 129 trillion US dollars? All of us do. All of us do. That's who pays it back. And when they can't, pay it back in other ways. We pay it back. Well, let's get into that. So there's two types of default. There's a hard default, and then there's a soft default. A hard default is saying, I'm not going to pay money. Just not paying it. And then who loses in that scenario? Well, depends on who you're talking about. If it's a guy with all the guns, maybe the U.S. economy, that's a hard one. The U.S. government, that's a really, really tough one to do. But then there's another one. It's called a soft default. And soft default is you print more money and you just pay it off with that new money. But again, it does the same thing. It devalues the currency. The debt's still owed, but it just devalues everybody's wealth who has wealth, and it taxes them. It takes money out of your bank account. It takes money out of my bank account. It takes money out of everyone's savings, and it reduces the value of it. But when they're printing it, they're getting the full benefit of that value. It's really, really that awful. It's really that awful. I don't think you math good. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see then. We'll see how that works out. Canada, the illusion, well worth a watch if you're into Canadian politics. Happens to be. I'm part of a YouTube channel that isn't. It's called Canada, the Illusion. I'll check that out. Absolutely. It's becoming monopoly money. Absolutely. Totally is. I mean, just look at it. The monetary supply has gone up. All nations have done this, not just Canada. U.S. Treasury, with the Federal Reserve, they've devalued the dollar tremendously since it left the gold standard. Dollar's ending because of coins. The penny is now worth 1/100th of a real penny. A quarter is now worth a real penny. Well, then that would make a penny 1/25th. They wanted a marrow 10 years ago, but North America Union failed. Well, I think a North America Union would fail still today, but this whole idea of Fortress North America is a different thing. I think that's a different thing. It's not the same as an Amero, which the European Union is failing. Just watch it. Watch it in real time. It's incredible. It's incredible to see what's happening. And we'll get into that. Let's get into it, because this was the breaking news today. This is what we saw. Where's my web? I got the live feed where I still have the chat next to me, and it's still in the same place. This is great. Tell me if you like this layout better than the other layout from before. Just trying to do things better for everybody out here. Silver is at $64.36. That's crazy. That's crazy. It was it like 50 something just last year? That's crazy. Yeah, let's get into this. So here's Starmer just coming out and saying it. I just came out and say it. Allow millions to flood in through the borders and offer digital ID as a solution to the problem that you've created. Wake up and smell the dystopia, people. This is what's happening.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID.
Free of charge? Did you catch that? He's not going to even make you pay for it. You don't even have to pay for the jail cell. That's amazing. Thanks. Thanks, Keir.
Announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. It has been as simple as that. We've been talking about it for years. It was just as simple as that, but it was a conspiracy theory. You're a nutbag. You're a nutbag if you believe that. You're a nutbag if you think that the government is trying to create a digital ID. Well, why would they want to do that? Well, they don't want to control you. They don't want to do that. Of course they do. It's unbelievable. And like right on cue. Right on cue. It's amazing to me though. It's amazing because and I tweeted this out today. I wonder if I can find this real quick because man, I've been tweeting up a storm lately. I put this to everybody. I said, let's be clear about this. Canada would already have adopted this before the UK if it wasn't for the Freedom Convoy. Seriously? Tamara, who's in the chat, Chris Barber, who headed off the Freedom Convoy, left from the west, went to the east, drew the eyes and the attention of people from all over the planet because the government was overstepping and overreaching and getting into our lives and telling people you're allowed to work. You're an essential servant. You're not an essential servant. And we'll tell you when you can come back to living with the rest of us. That's right. We were told this. Why? Was it some creed or anything? No, it just happened to be the career you chose or you fell into. They were, you telling me that this isn't what was happening? There already was restrictions on who could work at the time and digital passports. We dealt with this in British Columbia. You had to download an app on your phone in British Columbia and you'd have to punch in information and then verify that your vaccine status was up to snuff for the overlords. And if and only if you did that, you could go to your favorite restaurant or what have you, go into a store. Nothing happened to Big Red yet. Hope to wrap this summary dismissal application November 26th. You got to come on the show, Tamara, and tell us all about it. You really do. Anytime. You're always welcome. But yeah, let us know. Let us know what's going on with this stuff. Crazy what they've been doing to you. But yeah, this is what was down the pipe. It was crazy. And that wasn't the only thing. It wasn't just the digital thing in British Columbia. It was the Arrive Can app. It was all of it. Tamara could be on tonight. I don't know. Tamara, let me know if you could be on. I could send out a link. You can come on and chat with us. But absolutely, you're always welcome. But this was what was happening. Love you from Texas. Awesome. You're getting lots. Yes, headed to Edgewood tomorrow. So this is the direction that Canada is going. Truckers were dealing with this thing at the border because of the Arrive Can app. People who were heroes just a minute before turned around and said, you know what? I don't want to do the app thing. And the government's like, nah, you're doing that. You're doing that. That's exactly what you're doing. And if you don't do it, well, you're out of a job. You're out of work. This is how rough, this is how tough the government was pushing for this stuff. You think digital ID wasn't right in the works? I mean, they were talking about it at the time. It was crazy. Oh, we're just about to head out. Yeah, absolutely. Come on next time. We'll see you at the with the show when I get back. Absolutely. Give me a call, Tamara. Anytime. Anytime, you're welcome on. Jilly Beans jumping in here with a $5 super chat. Says China is the example that they want to use for the rest of the world. Absolutely. This is it's pretty clear. And I mean, you look at Klaus Schwab, what he's talked about. China, looking up to China, looking up to what they're doing. Another great resource for information on this is Andy Lee. Andy Lee from Alberta, Canada, journalist who's been prying at this, and of course, yikes, yikes indeed. When you're prying that hard, things get dangerous for you. So yeah, go give Andy Lee some love for sure. Any chance you get over on Twitter. I think it's just at Andy Lee, but she's been doing tons of work on this, prying out all the things that have been happening in China. And of course, well, here we are, and this is the thing. So again, I said, let's be clear about this. Canada would already have adopted this before the UK if it wasn't for the Freedom Convoy. Freedom Convoy put them back a long ways, which is great. Thank you so much, everyone who was involved and everybody who spent the time to go out there and support or donate or whatever contributions you gave. There was already restrictions on who could work at the time in digital passports. The Liberals, NDP, Bloc, and the Conservatives would have voted for this. There was no opposition at the time. They were all in unanimous agreement on these concepts, on these ideas. It was a bit like what, Bill C5 that came through the Parliament this go around. Unbelievably, yay! Let's just give the government more power. That's what they're all about. They're all about it. They're absolutely all about it. And you know, it's embarrassing. And well, what's more embarrassing? I mean, you know what's even more embarrassing? The crap that comes out of our parliamentarians. I got to share this clip because it is just absolutely ridiculous. New Canadian member of parliament openly calls for Donald Trump to be barred from Canada. Yep, we're headed for annexation. It's happening. Here, let's play it from the beginning. This is just unbelievable.
And finally, Mr. Speaker, I have a petition that has been signed by Canadians from coast to coast. They note that during the dissolution of the 44th Parliament, petition E5345 was not able to get a response, and it muzzled the voices of the 66,562 Canadians who signed from 10 provinces and 3 territories, declaring that Donald J. Trump is a convicted and sentenced felon of the United States of America. He is an insurrectionist, having engaged in one on his own U.S. Capitol. He's making
lie after lie after lie. It's crazy. The insurrection by a bunch of gun lovers that forgot their guns. Unbelievable.
Ongoing threats of both a monetary and sovereign nature against Canada. And
yeah, you don't do what they want, they're gonna pull out the support for you. Like, support is a given. It's so crazy.
They ask that Donald Trump be refused entry to Canada until such time as he cease and desist making threats or taking actions contrary to the well-being of Canadians.
So makes me wonder why even mention the fact that he's convicted or whatever, a convicted felon, if it had nothing to do with what their demand is. Their demand is that he cease and desist saying mean things. Until he cease and desist saying mean things, we want to bar him from the nation. Why even mention the thing about being a felon? Well, because it doesn't carry any water, is what it is. All of that stuff's being overturned because it was an activist court, activist judges in New York City. Absolutely. And they know this. They know this, and they know that it wouldn't, because they could just say, well, we don't let felons in the country. We don't let felons in the country. But keep talking smack like this. Keep talking smack like this, because the amount of parliamentarians that are being banned from the United States is growing. That's growing. And holy cow. Anyway, I just had to share that because that's just, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous what's happening here. But let's get back to this digital ID stuff, because this is on our way. It's on its way here. And people just, for some reason, still don't believe it. Still don't believe it. Standing ovation for a little Nazi. But Trump and his fake conviction is too much for them. Yeah, right? What? That's unbelievable. FBI, we're starting the trouble on Jan 6. Yeah, absolutely. We know that. It's incredible. It's incredible. So back to this. Keir Starmer bringing this in, and it was not even something that surprises anybody. Jonathan Gold, do you have a list of the guns from the gun ban? No, I don't have a list. I could get the list, but I mean, it's immaterial. A lot of those guns that are on that, I mean, all the list is talking about how much compensation they're willing to give for the different firearms. And it's a joke. It's a joke when, you have like Daniel Defense AR-15 and they're willing to give $700 for it. And it's like, no. How about no? How about no? Straight up, just how about no? Anyway, this is this was a great clip, and I want to show you guys this.
Breaking news now. Digital ID will be made law for all adults in an effort to tackle small boats. Downing Street believes that a mandatory ID card system...
We're going to stop small boats. That's how we're going to stop small boats from coming in the country. I don't know. Not like how Donald J. Trump does it. I like the way he does it. Those small boats that come in the country with the drugs and bad people. Hellfire. That's enough of those hellfires come and they just stop trying. You know what I mean? That's the thing. But this is how we're going to solve it. We're going to solve the small boats coming in by locking down the citizens of the country that they're trying to protect. This is crazy to me.
Will help stop illegal immigrants working. Let's bring in our political correspondent, Mari.
Pause it here for a second. To stop boats. Digital ID to stop boats. They open the borders, they stick them all in hotels, they give them yoga, and then they go, oh, we're going to need digital ID to stop them from coming. Anyone in this space knew this was the game plan from the start. Create the problem, offer the solution. They flooded your countries, and now they're pretending as if digital ID is the solution. But let's watch.
So this, you got to remember this, because they're one-trick ponies. They don't have a bunch of different plays, so they're going to try the same play everywhere. So Donald Trump's doing the right thing. Get the hell out of here. You've come. You don't have a legal status in the country. You got to go. It's time to go. You come with illegally, you do the legal process, by all means, come on in. Welcome aboard. That's the way you do it. But if you don't, you try to skirt the rules, you try to go around the rules, you try to break the rules, you got one ticket. You get one ticket. And it's with Mr. Homan. And it's on a plane without the bells and whistles, probably a cargo plane. And you're going home. You're going home at the expense of the taxpayer, but that's fine because it's way cheaper than keeping you, than having you. So, yeah, pure. And I'm unapologetic about this, right? I don't join the group of people that go even further and say, that's right, we got to make it a white only country the way it used to be. It used to always be a white only country. I don't do that. No, I don't do that. I think there's lots of merits in having people from all over the world that come here and do it legally and love being here and want to take on our culture and do all this other stuff, and that's fantastic. It's great. Yeah, that's right. No, I don't. No, that's not the way I look at things. But I definitely look at things this way. There's a right way to do it, and then there's a whole bunch of wrong ways to do it. And guess what? all of those wrong ways, all the right way, wrong way, all the wrong ways. You get where I'm going with that. It's pretty straight up. You do it legally, or you get booted and you're not welcome back. That's the thing, right? And right now I'm going through a situation. It's not easy. I even recently asked for help. I put it out on X saying, like, this is untenable. It's not really an easy situation that I have to deal with right now, but it is what it is. And so I even asked out to the interwebs and I said, listen, does anyone know if there's a way of speeding up the I-130 petition process? I've been waiting for more than 12 months, and USCIS website is still showing 5 months wait to review my file. I'm an American citizen and I'm just looking to get home, but I can't leave my wife of 19 years behind. And that was my thing. I just throw that out there because maybe, just maybe, someone's got an answer to make it less frustrating and easier. But this is the problem. If you break the rules, you get you mess with the bull, you get the horns, right? And I'm all for it. Anyone who breaks the rules, GTFO, right? And this is why we're not breaking the rules, because we practice what we preach. We practice what we preach. I can't do the wrong thing while talking about doing it the right way. Cannot do that. And I can't stress that enough. Always practice what you preach. But yeah, let's get back to this one. I told everybody on Twitter, I said, tonight's show is going to get a little spicy. It might. Just wait. But this is what's happening. I'm having a moment here. Let's go.
Mari, what more do we know about this?
Yeah, well, Gareth, this is interesting because this is something that...
You can help me. Clyde, do something. I can help you. Join the Discord server. Come talk to me tonight. See if you can that way, or let me know the best way to get in touch with you. Because if you can, that would be fantastic. Holy cow! I can't stress that enough. How fantastic that would be. Let's get back into this.
What more do we know about this?
Yeah, well, Gareth, this is interesting because this is something that has been spoken about a lot. Tony Blair, for instance, has been talking about this for years and years as what he always believed was one of the best ways to try and reduce illegal immigration and the ability for people to work illegally here in the UK. But Sky News understands that we will have an announcement, could be as soon as tomorrow, from the Prime Minister.
No, you know how you stop illegal people from working illegally in the country? Crack down on the businesses that hire them. Whoa, is that a crazy thing to consider? What? We're going to crack down on the businesses that do it. They did it in the US. Holy cow. I mean, Donald Trump is laying the groundwork for all of this. I love this. I love the fact that this is even coming up. The groundwork has been laid. Donald Trump has put it forward. All he had to do is say, hey, you guys at ICE that are, this is your job. This is what you're supposed to do. Great. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let you do your job. That's all you had to do. We're going to let you do your job. We're going to allow you to do your job, and we're not going to impede it. We're not going to get in your way, and we're going to give you the power to do what it is that you've been tasked at doing. And what happened? Well, what happened was they started going to job sites and they started giving punishment to outfits that would hire people illegally. Because you're not going to bust the individuals that are working under the table. It's not going to do any good because they'll find some other place to work under the table. If you bust places that hire people working under the table, well, guess what? They'll stop doing it. Why? Because they have a registered business that they would like to keep as a registered business. That's why. And if nobody's willing to hire them, then guess what? They stop coming. That's right. They stop coming. And what's happened at the southern border in the United States? They stopped coming. So not only did they, do a good job with the wall and border security and all that, but they stopped coming. because they're not going to get the benefits that they believe that they're going to get. This is the crazy part. Holy cow. Do you think you need digital ID? No. Again, this is a problem that they allowed. And again, in the case of the United States, why did Biden let them in? Millions and millions of them in. No problem. And when people tried to shut the border down in Texas, that the National Guard came in under Joe Biden and did all of that stuff. Allowed them in. Broke down the walls that they had made. It's like not giving money to the cardboard sign people. Yeah, you don't give it to them. They stop coming. They stop showing up. They'll find another way to make their money. It's crazy. Let's hear what he has to say here.
On these mandatory ID cards, an ID card system, the Brit.
Before we get into that, I think I missed another one earlier. So let me just catch up on this. Goko Donnie for 2 says, F in, F off. Pick one. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Goko Donnie with another one coming up with a $5 super chat. I'm just poke it in there so you can still see me while I read it. Goko Donnie for 5 says, for those who make the laws don't live by the laws, there are no laws, just a fight for survival. Billy Jack. That's crazy. That's crazy. I haven't heard that quote before, but it's true. Absolutely. The government obviously want us broken. They're washing out the Christian Canadian population. Wash it out. It's for votes. It is for votes. It's absolutely for votes and for control.
Card. And essentially what this will mean is mandatory for all adults here in the UK. It will make it easier for employers and for landlords to make sure that those they are employing or renting
reading from a script.
To actually have the right legal immigration status here in the UK. They can do it using a smartphone app. It's also, according to the government, going to make it
a smartphone app, hey? Yeah, you don't think that was the actual design for ArriveCan? You don't think that it was going to graduate into that? I mean, they were Alex Jones was right. Holy cow. Put another one in the Alex Jones was right jar for sure. This is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. So, yeah, people expect more of this.
Make it easier for people here in the UK to essentially prove their
It's
status
gonna
or
make
their ability to kind of qualify.
Tapping out already, Ned Tunes. Well, thanks for coming by. It's awesome to see you again after all this time. Pop by more often. It's every Wednesday at 6:30 and every Friday at 5:30. That's Pacific time. So if you're in the Eastern time zone, it's Wednesdays at 9:30 and Fridays at 8:30. I've been doing the Fridays an hour earlier because I know there's a whole crowd that like to join in just a little bit earlier. Hopefully that works out. So yeah, keep on coming. Let's get back to this.
Qualified to be able to work here in the UK.
It's going to make your life easier.
And essentially, this is all about immigration. This is all about trying to tackle small boats crossing.
I wonder why they would put your citizenship on ID. Alberta, looking at you guys. What? I can't believe Alberta would be one of the first to adopt this stuff, but that's a thing.
We've had a lot of conversation about small boats and about other European countries, especially the French, who have been concerned with the kind of pull factors here in the UK in terms of being able to work in the black market, being able to work illegally here in the UK.
Credit score.
We already know that France has an ID card system. They've had it for many, many years. And it's something that the UK has always resisted, partly because...
Did she say that France has had an ID card for many, many years? Let's hear that.
UK in terms of being able to work in the black market, being able to work illegally here in the UK.
Credit score.
We already know that France has an ID card system. They've had it for many, many years.
Wait, if France has had it for many, many years, why hasn't it been working? Go to France anytime these days. It looks like Morocco or Nigeria. It doesn't look like France these days. Holy cow. That's the biggest admission right there. The reporter ad-libbing, throwing that one out there. Yeah, it's not been working. So do you think it's all going to stop when the digital ID is given and everybody is forced to accept it? No. Wow, this is a big old do not comply. Oh wow, holy cow. That's a slip that I didn't think was going to come out.
And it's something that the UK has always resisted, partly because of questions around civil liberties and freedoms.
We didn't do it.
Oh, civil liberties and freedoms. Why is everybody always wrapped up with that?
In the past because of freedom and civil liberties. We don't need that now.
Oh boy. Did I just do the French laugh? Yeah, it's holy cow. Holy smokes is right. Holy smokes. Absolutely. What? Unbelievable that this is what's actually happening. I'll never comply. Don't comply. Don't comply with this. Like what would you compare this to? As we hear this mark of the beast, right? From some people, they'll be saying that. Unreal what's unfolding with this craziness. It's unbelievable. So remarkable that this is what's happening. Now, this was the conference.
Authoritarianism.
Oh, this was the best part. Oh, I'm glad it paused right there. So this was the conference that this was part of, and Mark Carney was there. And I'm sure, excuse me, the wobbly pops tonight, they're getting to me already. Wow. Nitro with a $5 super chat. Thank you so very much. I love that. I love the avatar, by the way. That's an awesome avatar. The cigar smoking toilet. Nitro for 5 says they stomped on our laws, so now we solve the lawlessness in Parliament by fixing the law. Hopefully, it can be done cordially. Can it be done cordially? Because they've got their faux majority now. It's crazy, like keeping the conservatives at like a tiny, a minority status, just and then not be able to pass anything. And then who concedes in those back and forths? Well, only the conservatives. The conservatives will concede to things that make government bigger. Wow, isn't that something else? Hey, conservatives will side with the liberals if it makes government bigger, like, I don't know, giving them the right to trample over provincial sovereignty. Oh, but wait, we'll have power at some point, and then we'll be able to wield those power. No, don't want any of that. That's right, Rage Man. C5, that really happened. Canada cordial, really? Stand up and say no. Oh, not an effing chance. Or is there another way if they don't walk away? Wow. Here's the thing, like let's just be real. We're about to have a referendum in Alberta. If Alberta's referendum is successful, there will never be a conservative government in Canada again. I mean, what's left of Canada. That's really a thing. Cuz all of those seats from Alberta, poof. They're gone from Parliament. That's it. So you got to ask yourself, the Conservative Party of Canada, do they really look out for the interests of Alberta? That's going to be a thing. So like this sitting in Parliament right now, this current sitting in Parliament is really going to reflect on them when it comes to the referendum, because that question is going to come up over and over and over again. Because like, look at it this way, the liberals, the conservatives, everybody will kowtow to all the needs and wants of Quebec because that's their chance of getting voted in again ever. Why is it the conservatives don't look at Alberta that way? The federal conservatives just look at Alberta like a given, like, oh yeah, that's ours. We own them. We don't have to raise their concerns at all. What? Transfer payments? Not even touching that. Nope. No, because we have their vote. If we talked about that then whoa, Ontario is not going to like us very much. Oh, okay. We see how it is, right? The West is growing a little bit more. I don't know. It's like Canada has this weird thing where it's like political and what's the amnesia, where they just forget. I don't think people are gonna forget this last go around. I don't think so. Oh, Squirrel Nuts CA. Thanks for reposting the stream, getting it out there to more eyeballs. That's definitely helpful. It's a big. I appreciate that a lot. I really do. Nitro is just hogging the super chats tonight. But hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much, my man. Nitro for $10 saying PR Pierre, which is I called him PR Polyev. Yeah, the public relations Polyev. Master of poll watching will do nothing but what he has told. I would say not a single MP will do what is needed. So therefore, we, the people, need to do our due diligence. I would agree with you there. Yeah, I can't say that I'm not disappointed. And because I gave him that nickname, PR Polyev. It's too fitting. What's the PR team say? But the worst part is it's the whole thing. And really at the end of the day is like you can't throw them all out and say they'll never do the right thing, because they could turn around and start doing the right thing. But the fact of the matter is they're scared. They're scared. Now, when we were at this We Unify conference over the last weekend, Marty and we got mingling with a lot of the different people, and I got to talk to every speaker that was there, every single one. It was amazing. And Marty went up and asked one of the conservative MPs that was at the event, and he's like, I'm not going to tell you who it was, but if you're savvy enough and you look at the lineup, you could definitely find out who it was. So he asked him and said, why aren't you following me? Why, like, there's no, like, and Marty wasn't just being a fat head about it. He's like, all the UCP follow. He's got liberal MPs that follow him. There's all kinds of people that follow him. It's all over the place. It's huge. And he's like, you know who I am. And the MP's like, yeah, I know who you are. And pulled out his phone, and his tweets are right at the top of the page. So why don't you follow me, he says. And he says, you're too controversial. Oh, can't do that. Can't be controversial. Can't say controversial things. Everything's controversial. Why? Because the liberals have made everything controversial. Saying that a woman is a woman because the only kind of woman there is out there is a biological female, that's controversial. That's just insane. Ann Walter says the speakers were clamoring to speak with Clyde. What? Well, they all had to. No, they because I was the master of ceremonies for the event for 3 days. It was a lot of work. It was crazy, but yes, everybody had to come and meet me before being introduced on stage, it was a nice little perk. I got to have a little conversation with everybody that spoke at the event. Yard prep, weak men, cons will keep losing if they keep if the playing field, even if it was even. And here's the crazy thing. They let the liberals set the agenda on what is a topic that's allowed to be talked about. And if you always play that game, if you always play the game of letting your opposition set the agenda of what is allowed to be spoken about, you have already lost, and you will never win. You will never, ever, ever win. And this is how Donald Trump won. This is how every good politician on the right side of the aisle has ever won, is because they don't play that game. They don't do that. They say, I know what you want to talk about, but I'm going to bring this up because this is what the people want to talk about. This is what my constituent wants to talk, is they want to talk about. And so I'm going to address these issues. And you can talk about your whatever, your typical ones where you want to talk about gay marriage or abortion or any of these other issues that are, sure, they're an issue for people, but they're not the main issue for people. Not like immigration, not like the economy, not like a lot of these other things. And then they get into office, and what do? They sell us digital IDs. It's incredible. Designer hugs. I'd like to get one of those designer hugs one of these days. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it. If a liberal appointed committee deemed what was considered hate speech online sends the RCMP to arrest you for a term of up to life in prison, then it's taking up arms to defend your life. Is taking up arms to defend your life justified? Wow. That is not only philosophical, but it is like something that could get me banned on YouTube if I were to give their answer. I think unjust laws are unjust and they should be fought. There's another approach to this. Now, for one, I think officer that's just doing their job, they should be absolutely shunned for any action like this. If they follow through with orders like this, and I'm not. So this isn't cancel culture. This is the idea that if you follow through with an unlawful order, and your neighbors no longer want to talk to you, no longer want to associate with you, and you let that be known. I mean, here's the thing: Japan, social ostracism is the thing that works to keep people from doing bad stuff, even all the way down to littering. If I had a friend who was an officer and I knew that he unlawfully did this, I would shame the hell out of him, and I wouldn't let him live it down. Absolutely. The next step in actions like this is actually something that Pierre Elliott Trudeau made sure was allowed in our legal system, which is the idea of jury nullification. And this is something that needs to happen more and more outside of courtrooms, where you know that there's a jury that's going to be going for this. Jury nullification, that is a dangerous avatar picture. I know it's a broom on a wall, but come on, man. That's funny, John Curtis. You derailed what I was saying. Jury nullification is one of those things where you can change the law by not convicting. And don't give me this, Clyde loves Pierre Elliott Trudeau. I think he was the worst ever. But one thing, credit where credit's due, one thing he did right was he stood up for jury nullification. That was a thing. That was an absolute thing. So taking up arms to defend your life, justified? It's whether it's justified or not, it's not going to do you well when you're going against the monopoly of the state. And when I say a monopoly of violence, they will at that point then be justified to take your life. So do with that what you will. Jilly Beans for 5 says, no one is going to save the people. We cannot vote our way out of what's happening. Well, perhaps we can, but it's just not the votes you're thinking of. There is a referendum coming up. And believe me, if that referendum were to take place, that'll change a lot of things. That'll absolutely change a lot of things. I see John Curtis is getting a good laugh out of that. Look, you can see what it is now when you get a better view of what it is. That's such a funny image, man. You got that. That's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Let's get into this. I'm making sure I'm not missing any of these. Okay, back down to the bottom. All right. The shift has hit the fan for $10. Says, have you noticed an uptick in death threats since Charlie Kirk's assassination? I run a large Facebook page, and I've definitely seen a noticeable rise in hostility towards me and my content. Yikes. I've seen more hostility. I don't know if I've seen death threats. I don't think I've seen any death threats. I mean, apart from the vague threats of violence that I've always had from a lot of people, but no like straight up, like I'm gonna do this to you or anything like that. And then the hostility is still up there. Believe it or not, I get a lot of hostility from people on the right. Believe it or not. I actually... Oh, Mechanics is saying congrats on the followers, by the way. Thank you, man. Oh, cool. That's really good. I'm happy for you. I'm absolutely happy for you. But yeah, with what is it, Uncle Ben, with great responsibility or with great power or whatever. Yeah, it comes with that stuff. It comes with people saying really awful things and misrepresenting you a ton. I mean, holy cow, have I been misrepresented? So I put out a statement saying that I think that people who want a white-only Canada, like actually implement a white-only Canada, like kick out anyone who's not white in Canada, I called them inbreds. And I've had people all the way to Derek Smith, the guy, that little rotund dude who does YouTube videos, say that I call conservatives inbreds. Like just straight up, I blanket, like making statements that are not true. Like absolutely provably are not true. And like it hurts me. It hurts me in a place where it's like, wow, oof, you know, because betrayal hurts the worst always, because you know it's always like close to home. But like, man, when you misrepresent someone that bad, I don't know. I guess it just says a lot about your character. But because of that being said about me, so vocally and to a lot of people, there are a lot of people that have heard that and now come at me as if I said that, I think that conservatives are inbreds. So yeah, it's crazy. I get when you get an audience, you start to get hate, and that's one of those things. But geez, man, sometimes where it's coming from is just wow. It takes you back. It takes you back that these are the people that are actually spreading it. Clyde, you're better than nothing. You know I am better than nothing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jilly Beans for 2 says, with great power comes great responsibility. I know the guy. He's the guy who makes rice, right? Uncle Ben? No, I'm thinking of another Uncle Ben. It's a great phrase. It's absolutely a great phrase. And it also, with great power comes a lot of temptations too, right? A lot of temptations to take out personal grudges or things like that. I mean, I was just referring to one. Someone got a personal grudge because, they didn't like me for whatever reason, and then spread false claims about you, like provably false claims. And that sucks, you know? So I try to take the power that I have because of the attention that I get, and the attention because we live in an attention economy, and I try to do the right thing with it. I try to do the right thing and just talk about things that are real and actually happening. Ugh, getting sidetracked. That sucks big time. Yeah, it does suck big time. Wow, I got a comment this morning saying that claiming that I called somebody inbred, and I'll own it. I said that people who want a white-only Canada are inbred. And if you think that I called you inbred, either you want that or I didn't call you inbred. That's the thing. And if you spread it after actually knowing, then you're just an awful person, right? It's kind of like the Donald Trump said, great, good, very fine people. So it's a very fine people hoax, but it's one of those ones. It's the way it is. G Meister, member for 39 months. That's crazy. 39 months. Hey, G? Man, it's been that long. That's crazy. Says, it all sounds like a Western perspective to me. have that Western perspective, the idea that we need to do things, and if people aren't on our side about it, well, we got to choose new people, or say, hey, you're not really on our side. Not gonna roll with that. Not gonna keep going with that. Nitro with another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. You've been so generous tonight. Says Trudeau started it, Castro finished it, and Carney is here for the fire sale. The media is here to help. The cities love it, and we all lose. You're right. You're right. But Castro didn't finish it. It's still happening, man. You haven't even seen its final form. It's unbelievable. Its final form. Donald Trump is a woman. What? Why do I see these random chats as they go by? Oh, this is why I love the Friday show. You guys are hilarious. You guys are absolutely the greatest. And Nitro becoming a member of the channel. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Every penny helps. That Calgary trip is all on my dime. So, and not only that, I missed out on making content. So it kicked me out of the algorithm. I got a lot of work to do to get back up and get out there. So absolutely, thank you so much. Like I said, every penny counts. And you know, we're struggling saving up for the time that we get to move on out of here. We're heading down to Texas. So that's one of those things. That was Wong of you, Clyde. Were you trying to make a pun there? Oh, that's hilarious. Clyde, you are a Yahtzee or a fascist. Yeah. Yeah. Just the names. The names are hilarious. But it's funny to get it from both sides, right? Is it funny? Ironic? What? How would you say that? It's one of those things. But you put yourself out there, you put a target on your back, and I thought I was putting a target on my front, but I was getting stabbed in the back. You know what I mean? Trying to hit the target from the other side. That's what happened. That's absolutely what happened. You know, you bend over backwards for some people and you just help them out, and then that's all you get back in return. It's unbelievable. And then they make up stories about putting you up in their house for, yeah, whatever. Things that didn't happen. Dale Tulk for $6.99 says, you must be right over the target, Clyde. You know it. You know it. When you get attacked from both sides, you're right over the target. And that, it sucks. It sucks. But this is something, and I'm not playing this card. I'm not playing this card. I've dealt with this my whole life. So I've always been the black sheep in my family, which is it's kind of a hard thing. What is this? Make it Austin, Texas giggler? I don't know what that means. Absolutely. Being a black sheep is difficult. It's difficult. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I don't know. I haven't been really a spiritual person my whole life, but is it something that just God does to you and just makes it so this one will not be able to stomach lies or deceit. Like, it just can't stomach it. And okay, and then I have to live this life where anytime I see something that's not true, I point it out. It's like Tourette's for lies. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what it is or how it works, but yeah, it's just been one of those things. So ever since I was a kid, if I see inequities, and when I say inequities, I mean like people lying for their benefit, like to get something out of people, things like that. I can't help it because I see it as it's an injustice. It's not an inequity. I see that, and I have to let it be known, or else it sits on my mind and it bothers me. It'll bother me, and I can't let it go, right? And so I let it out. I let it out. But it makes you largely unpopular, not not just with the people that you're opposed to and you're against, but also to the people around you and even on your own side. You know what I mean by this? It says there are two kinds of black sheeps, one who choose it and the ones who were labeled it. I don't know. What am I? Did I choose it or was I labeled it? I feel a compulsion to do it. Like I don't feel like I have a choice in the matter. Like I can't get on with my day when I see that, right? It's just a thing. So yes to what? You gave a binary choice, and then you're like, yes. Clyde has his own very fine inbreed hoax. That's it. The very fine inbreeds. So I did call people inbreds. I thought it was funny. I did think it was funny. I called people who want Canada to be a white-only country. The people who actively want to make that a fact, make that a thing. Yeah, I called them inbreeds. And I don't feel sorry for that. Clyde, do something. It ultimately makes you a high-trust individual. Well, I hope so. Yeah. But it also makes me like, well, I guess, so I can keep secrets. Like that's not a thing. That's not an issue for me. And I've always been very good with sources. But it's just, I can't take injustice. I can't do it. If I see it, I don't like it. And this is why like when I see things coming out of the conservative camp, I can't button it. Like I'm like, no, it's wrong. It's got to be shared. People need to know about this. You're blessed with a strong conscience. That's fair. But it's all the tall trees that catch the wind. What? I'm a black sheep. I was chosen. Okay. Look up Paul Harvey, the Communist Directive, 1943. Less than a minute long. Is that the one? I think I have that queued up. I was looking for this video forever. Sure seems like it's that one that I had. And holy cow, this actually is... Damn, this fits this whole black sheep thing way tighter than I thought. Thank you. Who said that? That was awesome. That was great. Let's play this because wow, this really fits it. So the Communist Directive, this was 82 years ago. The left's mantra, we must call all conservatives fascists, Nazis, is still a momentum. Or if you're a damn liar and all you do is lie, turn around and call the person you don't want to say that you're a liar. You go and you call them a liar and a thief and all these other things. That's what you do. That's what you do. Here's the Communist Directive, 1943. Label them Nazis and fascists.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi
call them
or
what you're doing.
anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
No kidding. I want to see the whole video of that. There's more to it than just that. But this was Mike Lee who posted this out. This is in reply to Andy No. Said fascism arrives when a broadcast network suspends a late night host for 6 days for lying. His page, it's a page from the same playbook that put Hitler in power. Now, say what you want about the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Because maybe I have a different take. I don't know if I have a different take. Maybe I have a similar take to you guys or perhaps other people. Now, Joe Rogan had some things to say about it. Let's hear... actually, let's pop that up. Because Joe Rogan was like, yeah, this is crazy about that. No, Joe Rogan on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm sure I can find the clip real quick. It's usually pretty quick to find. No. So first off, before that, actually, let's get this clip and we can see what he actually said. So this is what he said on his show.
Hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Oh, sorry, that's the wrong clip. Oh, no, that's just him being an asswipe like he usually is. That's the thing that he said. No, here's Joe Rogan talking about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. Clyde, do something. Yuri Bezmenov on liberals next, please. It means something real. I've talked a lot at length about Yuri Bezmenov. Actually, I posted a bunch on that. Maybe we can get to that at some point. But hold your breath on that one because we're gonna get to this. So this was Joe Rogan commenting on the whole scenario with Kimmel. If you don't know, Kimmel said some really bad stuff and ill-timed about Charlie Kirk right after he was assassinated. Now, he did it all. He blatantly lied about who killed Charlie Kirk and said it was obviously somebody from MAGA, and in a very dismissive way. Now, after that, he made a joke about how Donald Trump was so crass about losing Charlie Kirk. And I mean, obviously it was an out of context clip, and then also a bad taste joke. Now, it's a bad taste joke, and I agree, like, whatever, like, you're just an asshat for that. But the thing is, if you're, it's different if you're the publisher of a thing and you get banned from social media or whatever. That's crazy. But when you get banned from a publisher, so you're a host or you're a writer or whatever, and you just get kicked out of your job, that's like, I mean, most people would get kicked out for that stuff. I was just the host of the We Unify. If I came out and I said a lot of stuff that they don't condone or agree with or anything like that, they could say, Clyde, get out of here. You're no longer the host. That's it. This is what this situation is. But so here's Joe Rogan's take on it.
Kimmel has this sort of go fuck yourself style. Look, it's kind of ironically, he's
sorry for all the people who have kids in the room. I didn't know this was gonna have a big F-bomb in there. There might be some more. It's Joe Rogan, by the way.
Celebrated in his monologue when Tucker Carlson got fired. It's kind of a problem. Yeah. And it's also kind of a problem that he, in his monologue, talked about how it was the right thing to fire Roseanne.
Yeah, I remember that.
A little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
A little bit of a problem. Yeah. Also a problem that he thought the unvaccinated, he made a joke about the unvaccinated people shouldn't get hospital care if there's people who are vaccinated that need that room. I think the joke was, oh, vaccinated person who's had a heart attack, come right in here, sir. Unvaxxed person who gobbled horse goo, rest in peace, Wheezy. Like,
oof. And not to mention that the people having the heart attacks, well, we know about myocarditis and the links to, not going to say the rest of that sentence because I don't want to get Alex Jones.
Like, that was the joke.
Yeah, that was the joke. So that was the joke. That's not the rest of the clip. I think the rest of the clip he gets into. Does he not? Is he not going to get into it? Dang it. So he basically says, like, it's not okay. It's not okay to ban somebody. It wasn't okay for him to get fired from his job there. And he goes a bit into the nuance of it, but I want to throw a little bit more in there. And it's like, it really comes down to this. nobody wanted him banned from social media. In fact, a lot of the jokes were, well, I guess it's time to buy a microphone, headphones, and a computer and start your own podcast, because that's what people were thinking. Like, no, we don't advocate you being banned from social media. We don't advocate you being banned. But if you got fired because you said something that the affiliates definitely don't agree with, and get this, so he was invited back. ABC, Disney ABC, caved to the pressure, and they brought him back. And his first show back, huge ratings, of course. Do you think he's going to stick around? His ratings were terrible. He had 126,000 views per show, per night. In an audience of what? Potential 310 million people? That's crazy. Dr. Naomi Wolf was at the EU. Now that they have all the Pfizer docs, she wrote a book about all the side effects. Interesting. Naomi Wolf's great. She did some work with Jeffrey Tucker. I love him as a writer. He wrote the book. It's a Jetsons world. Public miracles or private miracles and public something else. It's such a great book. It's a great book on economics. I definitely recommend reading it. Trump had to open his mouth in one of his latest truth posts, and now Kimmel and the left are on the right. What? Openly wanted him fired. Yeah, I don't know. See, the thing is, yeah, people were happy to see him get fired. They're happy to see him get fired, and that's the thing. But now they're equating the happiness that he got fired with the way the left was behaving. The left, like I said, he got fired, and then so he got pulled. ABC brought him back, but then his affiliates were like, "No, we're not putting that on. We're not airing it. We don't agree with the things that he said. We don't like him anymore. He's done." And our advertisers don't want to pay. They don't want to pay. We want to fill that spot with something different. And a lot of people were posting pictures of like a spoon and saying, can this spoon get more views than Jimmy Kimmel's live show? And holy crap, they were getting more views. It's a real thing. He'll F up again? Lamau? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've only emboldened the guy. That's all that is. But at the end of the day, he's probably going to finish out his season, and then that's it. His ratings are terrible. His ratings are absolutely terrible. View bots? You think that he's just got view bots? The 126,000 are all view bots. I believe that there's 126,000 awful, terrible people or brainwashed people or just TVs left on at night. That could be a thing. Absolutely can be a thing. What do we got here? We got, and Trump called for his refiring, just giving ammo to the left that Trump is a fascist. Yeah, he is giving them ammo. But him calling for it is not what a fascist would do. A fascist would make it happen, make it so. So, yeah, whatever. I guess that's what they do. Did Clyde talk about the economists who advised the Bank of Canada? Canada has 12 to 18 months before it implodes. No, I didn't get into that yet. That one's crazy. I mean, there's so much to get into, too. And I did have a clip. But where was the clip I was going to get into? There was a clip here I wanted to talk about because Keir Starmer we're at this conference where Starmer gave his speech about how they're going to make the digital identity the thing. You remember that thing that was a conspiracy theory just yesterday? Is it her Starmer? Anyway, at that same conference, our prime minister, it's hard to even say that out loud, was there, but the introduction was really interesting. I was taken back by this as they were going into a panel discussion, and the moderator there started speaking.
I'm thrilled to join you all for this conversation. We're living, and this is a really crucial moment because we are living in a new political moment. And as we all face rising authoritarianism.
What? These are the rising authoritarians. These are the authoritarians. It's crazy to me.
And essentially, significant disruption under the guise of change. We have leaders here who are...
Look at the comments. No balls, no balls, no balls. All over the comments. Yeah. Maybe they haven't dropped. He's like 70 years old, and they still haven't dropped. That's why they sit like that. Why do liberal men sit like that? What is that? And it's always, wow. So she's talking about authoritarianism in a time of the rise of authoritarianism. In a time of the rise of authoritarianism, where the perceived or so-called authoritarians are saying, we need to get government out of our lives, and the people that don't like those authoritarians are saying, we need digital IDs for all citizens to solve this problem that we created. They won't actually solve the problem that we created. Wait a second. Is my mind melting? Or are they lying? But better question is, do they believe that? Are they sniffing their own farts? Like, do they really believe this stuff? I have a hard time thinking that they believe this, but there are some crazy things that people believe. I mean, people went to Jonestown and drank it wasn't actually Kool-Aid. It was, anyone in the chat know what the Kool-Aid, supplement was? The knockoff. It had a different name. It wasn't actually Kool-Aid with the cyanide. Jim Jones, Jonestown. Flavor Aid. Peter from Edmonton, thank you so much. Yeah, Flavor Aid. They drank their Flavor Aid. Yeah, it was cyanide, James. Yes, but that's not what it was. Hey guys, we're just having a tall glass of cyanide here. Would you like to mix it with anything? Oh, man. Yeah, it was not Kool-Aid. It was not Kool-Aid. No, it was Flavor Aid. That's the one. But it wasn't spelled like it. It's got a weird way of spelling it. I can't remember what it was. Megan Sky Phoenix. Member for 30 months. Wow, 30 months. Almost up there with you, G. Megan Sky Phoenix, thank you so much. Says it's confession through projection, as Viva would say. Yeah, David Freiheit, Viva Fry. He says that. I like that. Confession through projection. They're saying to people, the authoritarians are about to take over. They are the authoritarians. Holy cow. They want to pass new laws that will throw you in jail for thought crimes, for a sentence up to life imprisonment. That's crazy. Now, I'm going to work when I get down to the United States. I really want to work at this, at making a pathway for Canadian refugees to get out of Canada. But I think a criteria needs to be set, and there needs to be, because I love America and I don't want anything wrong to happen to America, especially not at because of anything that I do. There needs to be a criteria set for anyone that enters the United States, not just Canadians, but it needs to be a thing, because Canadians do share a lot of cultural things. So I think Canadians are great candidates for if America ever needs immigration, why not from Canada, especially when Canada's ruined and a lot of socialists have taken over and they clearly want it. They clearly want it. There needs to be a thing where there's like a pledge. and and a probation period. You come to America and then you start going, it'd be great if the government took over this thing. Well, deportation. Sorry, gotta go. Got back to where the government takes care of all those things. Right back to that. Here you go. Off you go. See you later, eh? Take off, eh? Excuse me. Dale Talk for $6.99 says, have you heard about the parliamentary budget officer's testimony this week? Yes, I've heard about it. I haven't heard it. I've heard little bits of it, which I think I've got a clip of, which I will play shortly. I will get to that. Thank you very much, by the way. Nitro. Oh, I gotta switch screens. Nitro with a $10 super chat says, they create the problem, then come up with a solution, which anyone with eyes can see is just more restrictions, and accuse your opponents of which you are guilty of, then arrest, then repeat. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what's going on. Let's go to the PBO. Let's get that, because there's parts of it I haven't heard, so maybe we should just go over it. It's the PBO testimony. I don't know if I spelled that right. Should impact all Canadians. Well, that... I just need to do PBO. Here we go. Pop this up on the screen so we can all see this. From 15 hours ago, liberal delusion meets fiscal reality. Here we go. Pop this up on the web. Here's Dan Knight. I love Dan Knight's Twitter. He's always got some great takes on this. At committee, Liberal MP Vice Gasparo tried to spin Canada's ballooning deficits as a success story. His pitch: Canada still has a AAA credit rating. Oh, that AAA credit rating. Whoa. Let's just keep borrowing money. We don't make anything. It's crazy. Canada has services. And where do most of those services come from? The government. It's crazy. It's crazy to me that people... Honestly, when a huge chunk of the GDP, Canada should be illegal to add GDP to any economy. GDP is, or sorry, not GDP, to add government spending to the GDP of an economy. I think that should immediately derank you to an A rating. Immediately. Rid of 2 A's on your AAA rating. Until you remove that from the rating, until you remove that from your numbers. Because it's like, oh, honey, we're poor. We can't really afford much this week or this month. Oh, okay, well, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna fix everything for us, sweetheart. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a gardener. And we're gonna build an in-ground swimming pool. That's right. We're going to get a swimming pool, and we're going to get that new garden that you wanted, and Jose's going to come and do it for us. And you know what? We're going to get ourselves out of all this financial trouble that we've always had. Excuse me. I was turned my lungs inside out on that one. Like, are you insane? Oh, yeah. Well, that's not going to work. You're not going to get out of our financial troubles by doing that. Ah, jeez. Okay. Let me think. You know what we're going to do? We're getting that extension you always wanted on the house. That's what we're doing. I'm going to get on the phone right now. We're going to call him up. We're going to get that extension. Are you kidding me? This is what the Canadian government does. They're like, oh, the GDP numbers are bad. All right. Hire more people. Borrow more money. Borrow more money. Get get that. We gotta get that AAA rating. How else are we gonna do it? By spending more money we don't have. Holy cow. Canada still has a AAA credit rating, or debt to GDP ratio is only 42%. Wow. How do we compare it to the G7? The PBO answer was brutal. He compared it to 200-pound man with a 50% body fat boasting. I think we talked about someone like with that same stature earlier tonight. Sorry. No, he's more than 200. Compared to a 200-pound man with a 50% body fat boasting that at least his friends are 400 pounds and can't get out of bed. Relatively better. Sure, healthy, not even close. But Gasparo doubled down, insisting that Canada's deficits under 2% of GDP were proof of fiscal anchors. The PBO cut him off. The most important word in our release was unsustainable. The current path we're on in terms of federal debt is unsustainable. So there it was. The Liberals waving around their AAA credit rating like a participation ribbon, while the fiscal watchdog warned the country is heading for the same cliff as France and the UK. Only in Ottawa could delusion be packed as discipline. Here we go. Let's have a listen to this. Okay, it's 4 minutes, so we're going to do a bunch of reaction time to this thing.
Looking at our current position, we can't look at it in a vacuum. It has to be viewed, I would say, on a comparative basis. So Canada still maintains its AAA credit rating, and its current debt to GDP.
Every time he says AAA credit rating, I need everyone in the chat. I don't have to see you, but I just want everybody in their own rooms, in their house. I know you're having wobbly pops with me, but do this with me. Every time AAA credit rating, it's to snap the fingers. Hey, pop the collar. Okay, this is the Clyde do something drinking game for this video going on tonight. Nitro, whoa, Nitro! I can't read past that. Lots of text there with $20. Thank you so much. Wow, so generous. Says our GDP looks like the mortgage number cooking in 2008. Rent, garden, and other shady stuff is part of the GDP. It's just a matter of time till the house of cards collapses. All we did in 2008 is kick the can down the road. You're absolutely right about that. And what did they do? They turned on the fiscal taps, right? And Harper was actually a part of this. So let's just be fair on this. Harper thought it as a good idea because of his training from school in economics, because they for some reason only teach outside of Chicago and some certain places in the US, they teach Keynesian economics because, of course, Mr. Nixon back in the day, we're all Keynesians now, after he got us off the gold standard. Well, got the US off the gold standard. And they believe in this thing called deficit spending. Now, the difference between liberals and conservatives is the conservatives on the economic side, they believe that we should save that for the time when it's necessary. And the liberals, it's always necessary. Let's always stimulate the economy. It's the broken window fallacy, right? If I bust a window, then all these people have to go to work. There's the guy that makes window panes. He's going to be making window panes. The guy that does the frames, he's going to make the frames for those windows. He's got work to do. And then the guy who fits the window in the thing, there's the guy that has to come out and clean the glass from the old broken window. There's I don't know, the psychiatrist that takes care of your wife's nervous Nancy-ness after having that. I don't know. People who believe in this stuff, they probably have those ailments. Anyway, there's all this economic activity, but at the end of the day, you're not making anything. You're replacing something that's been broken. You didn't need to break it. And you're better off if it wasn't broken. Right? This is a broken window fallacy. All those spin-off jobs would be fine if you just came up with a new widget. And then all kinds of people would be employed. And you'd be doing all kinds of stuff. But instead, the government comes in. They come in with the broken window fallacy every time. By the way, thank you, Nitro. I really appreciate this. But that's just that. They come in with this broken window fallacy thing. And then Stephen Harper, he came out when the big crash happened. And we had good fiscal policy up until that point. And then he said, well, so what we got to do is we got to stimulate the economy to get it going. Because as fiscal conservatives that still believe the teachings of a really bad economist, John Maynard Keynes, this is the time that we do it. This is the time that it's applicable. So let's do it. And the liberals are like, yeah, we've been talking about doing this forever, and we don't ever stop talking about this because this is all we ever do. This is fiscal policy. We have to stimulate the economy. And then the budget will balance itself, right? We've heard about this. So what did Harper do? He does this. He puts this economic stimulus in. He tells Mark Carney, the Bank of Canada, lower the interest rates, Bank of Canada. I would love to do that. And Mr. World Banker, who follows the same economic policies or the same economic worldview, says, that's exactly what I'll do. I'm going to lower the rates indefinitely. And I'm going to create an asset bubble. And he didn't see that because you would see that if you followed different school of thought, like the Austrian school or the Chicago school. They all see this. They see this coming. They call it. They say it as it is, as it's happening. And then their predictions are right. And when their predictions come true, they're ignored. Why? Why is that the case? But it is the case. It's absolutely the case. Conspiracy fact is not a theory. No, it's not. It's not a theory. But theory in practice when it comes to the sciences is theory. I love America. I have family here. I love America too. It's great. Oh, thank you for this comment. But Clyde, interest rates are at historic lows, Clyde. Right? Those historic lows meant borrow more money. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. But, Harper wanted to do this fiscal, stimulate the economy. All he had to do was let all the people that had malinvested during that time fail. Everybody would have been just fine. Everybody who malinvested. Instead, they created the environment where more people malinvested. And where did everybody malinvest into? Real estate. And now, real estate prices are at historic highs, Glenn. That's right. They're at historic highs. Put your money into American companies or a cow and flour mill. Good luck. Yeah, buying stocks in cattle, that's actually really good. Like if you're just buying a cow, like buy a stock in a cow, and then you'll have healthy food right from the farmer direct. Gotta go. Have a great night, everyone. Hope to catch the chat on Discord. Awesome. Yeah, we'll see you in there. We'll be there. Absolutely. Cattle in Texas. Yeah, cattle in Texas, cattle in wherever. Alberta makes lots of cows, man. If you're in Canada, get your Alberta cows. They're great. Delicious cattle. Anyway, let's get back to this this speech here.
Ratio is, I think, 2.2%. How does that compare?
Again, every time he mentions it, our great AAA rating. Remember, everybody in your homes. Hey, AAA. We're all doing it.
To some of our G7 colleagues.
I can have one. No. To Canada relative to other countries.
Can you see the look on his face where he's really, really trying to break the news lightly? Like he's really, really trying hard to break the news in a way that's not so just like scorched earth. Everybody run! Ah! You can see it in his face. He's struggling with this one.
Is in a more favorable, if you look at the numbers, in a more favorable situation immediately. I would say, like for myself, the analogy is, I don't know, you're 200 pounds overweight and you have 50% body fat, and everybody else in your group, in your weight loss group, has 75% body fat and is like 400 pounds overweight and can't get out of bed. So, yeah, like we're in a more advantageous position, and in many ways, that's the opportunity where we can hopefully move. We have space and time where we can move quickly to rectify the situation.
You know what's funny about that analogy is like, yeah, so the United States has a tremendous amount of debt. The UK, tremendous amount of debt. The difference, though, is they have real economy. Like they have real economy. What do we do? We have oil. I mean, if Alberta leaves tomorrow, Alberta takes all that with them. What does the rest of Canada have? Southwestern Ontario has labor. They don't own like Chrysler is not a Canadian company. They have a Canadian wing. Ford's not a Canadian company. Name one auto manufacturer that's Canadian. Not one. They have labor that Donald Trump is working his ass off to get taken out of Southwestern Ontario and moved into Michigan and Ohio and all these other places where it originally, it originated. That labor originated from those areas. And I don't blame him for wanting to bring it back, because it is literally bringing it back. Jilly Beans for Two says, new PBO saw the books and realized we're done. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So, is that a reflection of the current global economic environment?
Yeah, very much so. The member referred to the work of the International Monetary Fund, and a lot of what the International Monetary Fund has been publishing recently on the fiscal side is advice to all countries to reduce deficits, reduce debt, and batten down the hatches and prepare yourself to make some tough decisions.
You know what? All credit to Elon Musk here in this. As much as Donald Trump was trying, and the big beautiful bill had some big beautiful stuff in it, like for me, when it comes to gun law stuff, reducing the tax stamp for short barrel rifles and suppressors to zero, amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I mean, there's a bunch of other beautiful stuff in that bill. That one's especially amazing to me, because now there's going to be a court challenge, because the only reason that restriction was ever legal was because it was considered a tax and not a regulation, because the Second Amendment's clear. You cannot infringe on people's right to have these things. And because they framed it as a tax, they didn't make it a restriction or a regulation. Now, without the tax, it's now no longer a tax. It's a restriction and a regulation. So there's going to be a court challenge on that. I can't wait until that's ruled on at the Supreme Court level with a very conservative leaning Supreme Court. Yes, I'm excited. But the downside to all of that is the fact that there's a huge amount of spending that was added to the U.S. Treasury, and that's freaking nuts. It's freaking nuts. Everything that Doge did, they undid with that big beautiful bill, and it's got to be reeled back. You just can't do it. Can't do it any longer. But the fact of the matter is, America is the largest economy on the planet. It could go through tough times. Canada can't deal with this. Again, what do we make? We make their cars. We produce oil, and the government won't even allow Canada to produce enough. Shutting down forestry industry. Someone reached out to me this week to point out some of the forestry stuff that's just being ravaged by the government, British Columbia government, causing forestries to just shut down. Oh, I wish I had the article on hand. It's unbelievable. But it's putting tons of people out of work. There's a whole mill in British Columbia. I can't remember exactly where. It's shutting down. Everyone's losing their job. Everybody's losing their job. And you still want to keep borrowing money? The tax base is losing money. It's crazy. We'll just tax the people who are still making money more. Yeah, and then the Laffer curve kicks in. Everyone bails or works under the table. We'll just give them digital ID. Jeez. New Berlin Wall. It's the digital Berlin Wall. They're trying to build it. Nitro. I can't see over the chat. I got to pop up here. Nitro for 5 says, Jim Basil said it a while ago. Canada designed and built a lot of stuff, but we give it away. We give away our IP to everyone, and now we have less than nothing. Less than nothing. It's ugly. Ugly. And we don't just give away the IP. We give away the ability to manufacture it to other people. Just give it away. Neil from the Hill, how are you doing, my man? It's been a minute. Good to see you back. For 5 says, he looks at him like a 5-year-old and explains it the same way. He's so over the stupid MPs. Yeah, they are stupid MPs. They are ridiculous. Unbelievable. Oh, don't forget tonight's server link. If you've never been to our Discord, that's how you get in. It's only on, it's the big powwows every Friday, but it's around all week. The only time you can get in is on Friday during these live streams. It's the only time the link's available. And those links expire, so I don't think you can share it around or I'll get in later. You have to do it during the live stream. That's how it works. But we do a powwow on Friday after the live stream every week. But then the Discord server is open for everybody to discuss with everybody all week long. There's a lot of cool channels. Share your memes, share your political ideas, share your pew-pews. There's all kinds of fun stuff. So go check it out. I think you'll like it. No more tax, just digital ID. Once there's a digital ID, they can tax anything they want. They can tax anything they want. There's nothing that can stop them. Let's get back to this. Tough decisions.
So exclusively, it certainly isn't advice to Canada. All other countries, and as I mentioned last week, there are some countries looking at France and looking at the UK where their financial markets are certainly rockier than ours right now, certainly in terms of debt issuance. So relatively speaking, we're in a more favorable position. It, at the same time, doesn't obviate the fact that the path that we're on right now isn't sustainable. And we might have more time than those other countries, but we're going to end up in a very similar place without changes.
Right. How much time do I have, Chair?
How much time do I have? You should be asking how much time does Canada have, you doofus? Holy cow. Maybe that's a little bit more important. Sorry. That was an outburst.
I have another 2.5 minutes? Oh, okay, great.
2 hours, 2 minutes, and 10 seconds.
Okay, great. So another question, obviously. You project, so we're on a good fiscal path, or a...
No! No, no. I think he's clearly said no. We're not on a good fiscal path. What? How? 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 Really? How? How did he? What? What? And then he's like staring at the sky. Well, so what you're saying is you're having a Kathy Newman moment. So what you're saying is AAA rating. Hey, popping that collar, right? We're doing it. We're doing it. I hope you did it at home. I hope I'll get those government spy cams, and I'll find out. I'm just kidding. Neil from the Hill for 2 says, like I said, stupid MPs, you nailed it. You nailed it. All right. So what you're saying is, it's looking good. What?
We're on a better fiscal path than some of our G7 colleagues.
No, we are not. We are not. We do not have the industry that they have. We don't have the economy they have. We are a tiny economy, but we're still playing the overweight game. You get it? We're the 200-pound guy whose friends are all roly-poly 400-pound, 5-foot-nothing dudes that are like, isn't this great? And playing my video games all day. Dude, we're not in the same. Crazy.
And you project our deficit staying under 2% of GDP and debt holding near the low 40% range. Would you agree that these kinds of thresholds are really, in practice, fiscal anchors that signal some discipline?
No.
I would go back to one of the comments I made at the outset that like the most important word in the release this morning was unsustainable. We like it. I don't know. We didn't choose it carelessly. I've been in the office for 17 years. I was working in the federal government putting together budgets for 10 years prior to that. You got to be like, you choose these words with prudence and care. And certainly we don't want to be alarmist. And at the same time, like the current path we're on in terms of federal debt as a share of the economy is unsustainable.
Unsustainable.
Yep, thank you. Coming back to our credit rating. Obviously, it's a fairly internationally recognized standard in terms of how sustainable our fiscal position is. How does that compare to...
How sustainable our fiscal position is? AAA rating, right? Dude, he just said unsustainable. Unsustainable. And he comes out, he pops his collar, AAA, sustainable. How do you spin that like that? I get it, politicians try to spin everything, but like, how do you spin an expert in what he just said back to him? Like, this is the ultimate gaslighting. It is just unbelievable.
Some of our G7 colleagues.
We, relatively speaking, again, similar to the fiscal metrics, we end up being further ahead or closer to the top of the group.
Thank you.
Great.
Great. Neil from the Hill with a 99-cent super sticker. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. Can't see the sticker. You see it on the side of the page there, over there with the gaping mouth. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for that. Defight you. Welcome back. With a $5 super chat, he says, this reminds me of the Hank Johnson Guam will capsize and tip over moment. Yeah. Just because that's what islands are. They're floating islands in the sea. And if all the people were to go to one side of it, isn't that what he said? All the people go to one side of it, it'll capsize. It'll be too heavy for the island to sustain, and it'll flip over. Man, where do they find these idiots? Where do they find them? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Before we go to Mr. Gill, just to follow up on Mr. Gasparo's comment, I do get a royalty.
I do get a royalty. Oh, I don't even need to hear the rest of it. I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly. That's unfreaking believable. What? What are we doing? What are we doing anymore, folks? I don't know. Where is this? Where is this gone? I can't believe it. Oh, man. Anybody can be a politician. As long as you can be whipped. That's it. As long as you can be whipped. You know, and who has the hard time with being a politician? I don't know. People like Jordan Keeley in British Columbia who won't be whipped. He won't be whipped, so he can't be in the party anymore. Yeah, that's right. Conservative Party of British Columbia. He couldn't be whipped. So he's like, peace out, boys. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you guys under non-disclosure agreements and not be able to say anything. Tamara, I love that. The problem with politics is that it's full of politicians. Who brought that up? There was a recent one. I think it was Jordan Keeley. He said at the We Unify conference, he said we need to bring back. And I think Bruce Party was talking about this too. We need to make political life amateur again. No more career politicians. It's gotta be over. Gotta have term limits on anything. And I think Jordan was even considering like term limits even on like if you got a court, you got an appointment with a court. That's your appointment. You get 6 years. Boom. That it's for life. End of story. You don't get to like then turn to become a senator and then an MP and then a journalist because you lost an election and then back into office over here as another MP or whatever. Just a term limit. Term limits would not only hinder the process of control but not completely remove it. And bring the salary down for politicians. Oh man, it's unbelievable what they're making. It needs to reflect their constituents. In my estimate, I think there needs to be a place where they can live, a dormitory, so they don't have to worry about it. And they got their roof covered when they show up to Ottawa, but then what they make is like roughly what their constituents in their riding make. An average of their constituents. Tamara's saying the exact same thing as me. As I'm saying it, it's popping on the screen. That's hilarious. Yeah, they should make an income that's relative to the vocations in their riding. That's it. Can't like what is this like? Oh, I didn't get elected in this region, so I'm gonna go into this other region, and then I'm still going to collect my $450,000 a year salary. Nope. Not really how we envisioned it. Mr. Roscoe Pico, welcome back. Member for 35 months. 35 months, he says. Thanks, Clyde, for your dedication to this. Absolutely, man. I really appreciate you. You're the dedicated one. Holy cow. Look how long you've been around. It's amazing. So Alberta's MPs would make out well. Yeah, they would. I'd imagine they would. You know what? They would make out even better if Alberta wasn't even part of Canada. Just gonna throw that one out there. Tamara, exactly. Why do they have to fight for That's exactly it. They'd have to fight for their constituents. And this is my current gripe with the Conservative Party at the moment, because especially the Conservative Party members that are from Alberta, I don't hear any Alberta issues in the House of Commons. I don't hear them, but I see a whole bench that's full of Alberta representatives, and I don't hear a lot of Alberta issues. I don't hear a lot of British Columbia issues. I don't hear a lot of Saskatchewan issues. I hear a lot of Ottawa issues. I hear a lot of that. So I'd like to hear a little bit more from the constituents. And I don't like the idea of whips, a party whip. I don't like that idea at all. The thing that I've always admired about certain politicians in the United States, one that comes to mind immediately, is Ron Paul. Ron Paul, he ran as an independent for a very long time. He ran as a libertarian candidate unsuccessfully, but then he ran as a Republican, and he was voted in, and he held that seat for a very, very long time because people loved that he represented them. And when he would go to Washington, he would represent them. But not only would he represent them, he would represent the ideas of liberty, which made him largely popular across the nation, not just in his riding. I love that. And the party would try to convince him, but they didn't have a whip. You couldn't force him. There was no mechanism to force him to make the votes the way he voted. He would vote his conscience, and he would vote at the consultation of the constituents that voted him in. And I think that's absolutely paramount to the democratic process. And you take into consideration that I say that, and I don't say democracy. I say the democratic process, because we don't live in a democracy. If we lived in a democracy, we'd vote on every little issue, and the people would vote. But instead, we have an elective government. We elect people to represent us. And when they don't represent us, then what do we do? What do we do? Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. Neil from the Hill for 5 says, it takes 10 years to get half of a pension and 20 for a full pension, but in the military, but only 6 years for a full pension. This has got to stop. Yeah, you're right. It's got to stop. That's just unbelievable. That's unreal. Tamara says that's literally their job, to represent their constituents and take their voices to the House. And they do none of that. None of that. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? And this is why I'm adamant about this. Canada not only needs, okay, we can talk term limits. That's great. I'm all for that. Canada also needs scheduled elections. And then before every scheduled election needs to be a scheduled primary. So if that incumbent, who's probably going to get elected, let's just be honest, most ridings will typically continue to go their way. There's not a lot of swing ridings. They tend to go that way. There needs to be, just before the election, let's do a primary and see what we think about that guy who just was in office for 4 years. Did he do a good job? Did he not do a good job? Should we replace him? Yeah, we'll keep the same party, but can we replace that guy? And I think that's important. This is why Javier Milei, he made that a mandatory requisite for all elections in Argentina. And I think it should be that way everywhere. I think it should be that way here. Richard Hughes for $6.99 says, do you really think that the Laurentian elites will let Alberta go with all that oil? Not a chance, in my opinion. They'll do whatever they can to stop it. Do you think that the Laurentian elites have any power over Washington, D.C.? That's the better question. That's the better question. Because I'm with you. I'm with you on this. The Laurentian elites, they do not want that to go. In fact, I would argue the Conservative Party of Canada will do everything they can to thwart a successful referendum in Alberta. They're going to do everything they can because they have everything to lose. They'll never be a ruling party in Canada ever again if they lost that. Just as if Quebec were to separate, you'd never have a Liberal government again. That's also true. But this is, oh my goodness. They will put so much to this. The Laurentian elites that you talk about, they are going to work so hard, but they do not have the power that Washington D.C. has. And Washington D.C. has way more pull in this fight. As soon as Alberta declares themselves as independents away from the rest of Canada and to become an independent nation, Washington, D.C. doesn't have to say Alberta become a state. They're already infinitely better off by letting Alberta make their own decisions and be its own independent thing, but have good trade relations with Alberta, and have a symbiosis with the nation. This whole thing that's happening with Canada does not need to be happening. And that's all the Laurentian elites that are doing it. I believe that, I believe that if they decide, well, the big deciding factor is going to be the United States. Recognizing them that day, just as Mark Carney recognized Palestine as a state. Dumbest move. Dumb. Neil from the Hill for 2 says that sounds like an American way of doing it. Yeah. Why not? Think outside the box, or think in a better box. Neil from the Hill with another 2 says, why do you think they want our guns, Clyde? Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. And boy, are they trying. We need to get the adults back in the room. You're telling me. They keep doing this crap. But I'm a big fan of what Donald Trump's doing. I'm absolutely a big fan of what Donald Trump's doing. And in the States, they have their own problems. They're running into a lot of issues with, they have ideological crazies at the moment. Complete ideological crazies that are going out and...
Borders are...
that was started playing right away. They're doing some crazy things. And one of those things is now, not only are they assassinating political figures, they're going after the ICE agents that are enforcing the laws. Like, come on, really? What are they doing? They're enforcing the laws. If you want to help out, an illegal immigrant, you know how you can help them out? Help them go back to their country and then fill out the paperwork in order to come back into the country legally. That's how you can help people. You broke a law. The law needs to be enforced. The law needs to be enforced. I'm moving to the United States. I'm a citizen. My wife is not. I'm not just going to take her into the country illegally and think that will fly. I have to wait, and I have to wait at tremendous cost, by the way. I'm waiting at tremendous cost for the paperwork to go through. There's a huge backlog, and it just is what it is. I wish it could go by faster. If somebody has a way to help me get it to go by faster, I would love to hear from you, and I would appreciate it. But in lieu of that, I have to wait. Instead, what are people doing? They're being propagandized by crazies on the television, and then they're living out these crazy fantasies that they have in their heads. And this is the result. This is what we're seeing. This is Fox News.
Tom Homan is with me in Focus today, standing by. First, let's go to Brooke Taylor reporting from Dallas. Brooke.
Oh, a quick super chat from Neil from the Hill. He says, the convoy was dad getting off the couch and they stood down. We were the adults in Ottawa. That's right. That's right. The convoy were the adults in Ottawa. Unfortunately, holy cow. The Canadians just, oh man, they just don't see it. They just don't see it. I mean, we all see it. Jilly Peppers, thank you so much. Clyde, I pray for you and your family always. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And by the way, join the Discord. Jilly Peppers putting that in there. Okay, let's hear this.
Hi, Harris. Well, first, we have new information right now coming in from the FBI Director Kash Patel, who says that officials have been working around the clock 24/7 to go through this shooter's phone and find a possible motive. And what they found is pretty shocking. We want to pull up this post on X. This was posted again by FBI Director Kash Patel just in the last hour. He says the perp downloaded a document with a list of DHS facilities. He conducted.
So if you don't know the story, because it doesn't sound like they're filling in some of the blanks, a shooter came and in Texas, just south of Dallas, and started shooting at ICE agents from a rooftop. And on one of the bullet casings, he, just like the Charlie Kirk's assassin shooter had made inscriptions, he wrote anti-ICE on the thing. Now, what's crazy about this story, and I don't know if they get into it, and we'll play it in a second, is the guy was shooting at ICE agents, ended up killing someone they apprehended. So one of the people he's purporting to be saving from ICE agents, he killed one and injured some others. This is just insane.
Conducted multiple searches of ballistics and looked up the Charlie Kirk shot video in the last 2 days leading up to the shooting. According to the FBI director here, the shooter also searched apps that track the presence of ICE agents. And listen to this. He says that there was a handwritten note that was recovered that said, quote, "Hopefully this will give ICE agents real terror. To think, is there a sniper with AP rounds on the roof?" The FBI also released a picture of anti-ICE messages written on rounds that were found next to that shooter. Officials say this attack was a result of dangerous anti-ICE rhetoric. Officials say the gunman was firing at that ICE facility from the rooftop of a nearby building. He fired indiscriminately with bullets flying all around inside and outside that building. He also hit a van in the Sally Port that was carrying 3 illegal migrants. Officials say one of them died and the other was taken to the hospital. Sources close to this investigation shared this picture of the shooter's driver's license with me. He is identified as 29-year-old Joshua John. Officials say he shot and killed himself when officers cornered him. The New York Post reports that his mother posted a series of anti-gun rants on Facebook just a few years ago. Those rants were aimed at Republican lawmakers, including Senator Ted Cruz, who spoke here at this press conference yesterday.
You're absolutely right, Curtis. Curtis Armstrong saying, here's where my Yuri Bezmenov leftists are useful idiots of communism. 341 on YouTube explains what is happening now. I'm going to actually look that up right now. Give me 1 second because I want to pull this up. I do want to get into the rest, a bit more of this story, but I am going to pull this up.
Looking at our
okay, on another page. let me just get this up. What's the name of the thing? Or just pop to this screen in the meantime. So it's called "Leftists Are Useful Idiots of Communism." That's the name of the title. Leftists are useful of communism. Okay, good. I was worried it was going to have the typos in the title because you did like AAR and II idiots. Leftists are useful idiots of communism. It's only that short period. Let's get into this video because this really does spell it out. And thank you, Curtis, for this. But this is really important to hear.
Under the guidance.
If you don't know who Yuri Bezmenov is, a quick introduction. So Yuri Bezmenov was a defector of the KGB in Soviet Russia, and he moved to America and spilled the beans. Totally spilled the beans on what it was that he did, and he talked about espionage, and he talked about ideological subversion, and basically sowing the seeds in academia and in entertainment in order to demoralize Western civilization to then want to become communists. And geez, I mean, look at where we're at right now. It's really there. It's really there. So here's him talking about leftists are the useful idiots of communism.
Of the Soviet embassy in Hanoi, and same thing I was doing in New Delhi. To my horror, I discovered that in the files where people were doomed to execution, there were names of pro-Soviet journalists with whom I was personally friendly.
Pro-Soviet?
Yes. They were idealistically minded leftists who made several visits to USSR, and yet the KGB...
By the way, Bernie Sanders, one of those. Bernie Sanders, he was, I don't know if he dabbled in journalism, but he was one of those pro-Soviets. He even had his honeymoon in the Soviet Union. Yeah. All those Bernie bros. Remember that.
We decided that come revolution or drastic changes in political structure of India, they will have to go.
Why is that?
Because they know too much. Simply because, you see, the useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system, when they get disillusioned, they become the worst enemies. That's why my KGB instructors specifically made a point, never bother with leftists. Forget about these political prostitutes. Aim higher. This was my instruction. Try to get into large circulation, established conservative media. Reach, filthy rich movie makers, intellectuals, so-called academic circles. Cynical, egocentric people who can look into your eyes with angelic expression and tell you a lie. These are the most recruitable people, people who lack moral principles, who are either too greedy or too suffer from self-importance. They feel that they matter a lot. These are the people who KGB wanted very much to recruit.
But to eliminate the others, to execute the others, don't they serve some purpose? Wouldn't they be the ones they rely on?
They serve purpose only at the stage of destabilization of a nation.
That's
For
right.
example, you're left...
Only in the revolution, only to bring about the revolution. And then once the revolution happens and control is taken, then no. You don't need them anymore. Get rid of them. Mao did. Lenin did. Pol Pot. I mean, like, there's all of them. What's his name? Castro. He did. He got rid of his. He even sent Che Guevara off to go fight other wars. He said, "Get out of here. Go fight other wars," or else he would have killed him himself. I'm sure of it.
In United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed by a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh when Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. The moment they serve their purpose, all the useful idiots are either be executed entirely, all the idealistically minded Marxists, or exiled or put in prisons, like in Cuba. Many former Marxists are in Cuba, in prison. So most of the Indians who were cooperating with the Soviets, especially with our Department of Information of the USSR Embassy, were listed for execution. And when I discovered that fact, of course I was sick. I was mentally and physically sick.
He was mentally and physically sick, but that's that story. I had a question there. How long have you had your channel? I don't know, a very long time. I don't know the answer to that. A while. Off to Gulag with you. That's right. Off to Gulag. Off you go to Gulag. This is unbelievable because this is the direction it's going. And this is one of these ideological useful idiots, right? They get indoctrinated. They get run through the camps in universities. They learn this stuff, indoctrinated through social media, through universities, through entertainment, all of this stuff. I mean, listen, all of those environmentalists. How many of them sat around and absolutely watched movies like Fern Gully, and they believed, oh, the industry is harming the poor fairies? I grew up on it. The message had a purpose. It had a purpose. And boy, did it work. Boy, did it work. And now they're turning into assassins. It's crazy, this story here. And they're going after ICE agents.
Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the third shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop.
Yeah.
And at the same facility, there was a bomb threat in August. And then in July, a police officer was shot in the neck in an ambush style.
Oh, Avatards. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Avatards, the people who watch that piece of propaganda. I mean, blue people, the unobtainium, they're just trying to protect their planet. Because they live amongst the animals, they communicate with the animals. Like, it's so blatant too. Like, we're at one with nature. We're so at one with nature. We got hair that plugs into it. Like, what? What? We got hair that plugs into animals, and then we control the animals. We could go for rides. We got ground ones with legs, and we got flying ones with wings, and you just plug into it. You get tired, plug into a tree. It'll make you feel better. We're at one with nature. It's unbelievable. Right. But people fall for this propaganda. It's crazy, and then they do crazy things like this.
Attack outside of an ICE detention facility
You gotta
here in
hear,
Alberta, Texas. But Harris, there has been
Holman.
a lot of questions about what the motive is, and I think those
It's pretty
documents
obvious.
and what the FBI director Kash Patel just put out paints a pretty clear picture there.
Brooke, thank you very much for getting us started. I want to bring in now Tom Homan, border czar, and you have been warning us about this as a country for months. You have said this on this very program. If you have just a moment to stand by, I'm going to play you saying what you knew would happen.
This is crazy. So this bit is absolutely perfect, because he called it. He said the rhetoric of the news media, of the left-wing politicians, the Democrats. They keep going with this. People are going to get hurt. And not only that, agents will die. Agents will get hurt. People will get hurt. It's only an inevitability if they keep chucking out this rhetoric.
I said 2 months ago, Harris, that if this rhetoric didn't stop, there would be bloodshed. And I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before there's an incident where an ICE agent is going to have to take a life, or an ICE agent is going to lose a life.
Right.
Being compared to Nazis and racists, that it's going to end with the use of force, that either a criminal is going to die or an officer is going to die. It's going to end up with a loss of life, and it's not over. I mean, the rhetoric has to end. The rhetoric needs to be tapped down, or you're going to see more bloodshed. I called it 2 months ago, and unfortunately, I was right.
And then now...
Here's the thing. These people, and Tom Homan wanting to do his job, honestly, every one of these agents would love for it to be a cakewalk, where you just apprehend a person, and then it's like, oh, great. Cuffs on them, go, boom. You know, handle everybody with kid gloves. Boom, you go into a facility. We're gonna figure out where you're going, send you off, and then toodaloo. Easy peasy. Oh, I love you. Just finished my sentence for me. You finished it for me. It ain't that simple. Is it ever? Is it ever? Man, it never is.
The new chapter of a detainee being the person who was killed and another detainee, a couple of them wounded in all of this. Your first reaction?
I wish I was wrong, but I've seen this movie before. I've been doing this, Harris, since 1984. I got over 4 decades doing this job, and I've seen this movie before. I've never seen it this bad, but you know, the rhetoric is what's causing all this hate, and it convinces that small percentage on the left that hate ICE to take action. When they have a congressman or someone that ran for vice president of the United States comparing ICE to Nazis, that gives some of these nuts and emboldens them to take action. And there's been 3 shootings in Texas alone. There was a gunman that showed up at a border patrol facility and started shooting at them. He picked the wrong facility. He picked a SWAT facility, and those officers end up taking his life. Then there's a shooting just south of Dallas where they attacked an ICE facility and 1 officer was shot in the neck. Then this latest incident. This is based on hate that's being fueled by the media and members of Congress and governors and mayors. You played on your show. We got to stop. ICE agents are enforcing the law Congress enacted. If you don't like what ICE is doing, then go tell Congress, because they wrote the laws that ICE is obligated and took an oath to enforce. They're making this country safe again. Every day they take a public safety threat or a national security threat off the street, it makes that community safer. All these politicians and mayors and governors should be calling President Trump and thanking them for making their community safe again.
How's that Soros investigation going? I love that. I love that. Because this is really what it comes down to. So let's contrast this. Let's contrast these 2 different nations. We've got the UK, which has a migrant problem. Pretty obvious. The UK has a migrant problem. What's their solution to the migrant problem? Well, their solution to the migrant problem is you need a digital ID. You need a digital ID. Why? Because we don't know who's coming in our country. So we need to make sure that only the people that are legal to work here are working here. Yeah. Instead of cracking down on the businesses that are hiring illegal workers, we want to crack down on the individuals by bringing in a digital ID. Contrast that with the United States of America, and they're cracking down on people that are coming in the country illegally, that came in legally, but then overstayed their visas and didn't leave when they were instructed to leave. This is the difference. People who are just border jumping, hopping the borders. Well, guess what? It's a different way of dealing with the same damn problem. But what's the difference? The United States of America is still concerned with people's liberty, people's privacy, people's freedom. And yeah, it's a messy job, and sometimes it doesn't look good. Maybe it's not a great PR campaign. But what's a great PR campaign? Locking your citizens down? Telling them they have to end all of their privacy? And the digital ID, let's just be serious about this. Do you think it ends with a digital ID? Do you think it ends with a digital ID? You don't think they're going to pair that with, I don't know, central bank digital currency? Something that is cashless? Get rid of all cash so you can't transact with anybody without the government knowing exactly what's happening? Or even perhaps the government might be able to just turn you off. Perhaps they'll pair that with a social credit system. But isn't that the plan? Isn't that the plan? And that's where I look at this situation and I see what's happening in the United States of America, and I see people like Tom Homan as heroes. These men are heroes. These men that are taking people that have come in and skipped the queue in front of other people that are legally trying to get into the country. Let's just be honest. Even the United States has a problem with not enough children. There's not enough new people. But it should be up to the United States to choose what people get to come into the country. Not up to the people that want to just border jump, come into the country, or come in on false pretenses and say, well, I'm just visiting, and then overstay their visas. This is really important, that the United States remains to have their autonomy over non-citizens that want to come in and join. The United States needs to be able to say, you want to join? Cool. We'd love to have you. What can you do for us? What can you do for us? It's an important message. It's an important message. And I think Canada needs to hear this. Canada needs to hear this. Because what's happening in Canada? Canada is turning into a country where it's overrun by a bunch of people that have come here on false pretenses as well. And if any individual has come here on false pretenses, gotta go. Gotta go. If you came in as a temporary foreign worker, come in, do your temporary stay, have your temporary stay, and then when it expires, go. This is how it works. This is how it's always going to work. And this is probably the conversation we're going to continue over in the Discord. So I hope my moderators can pop the Discord link in the chat as we're talking for the last few minutes here. But the awesome part about Friday night live streams as we continue the chat, Discord link is right there. Has anyone made sure that the Discord link is working? Just let me know in the chat right now that the Discord link is actually working. Make sure people can get over there and join in. It's a lot of fun. We all hang out, and it's like-minded people. If you want to join, you're welcome to. The link only works on Friday nights, so don't think you can take the take the link and share it around. It's a security thing that we do because, you know, it's all volunteers. It's all volunteers in the Discord. It's all people that are excited about the working. Great. So it's all people that are excited about the community and about what's going on and wanting to talk about these issues. And perhaps they don't have people around them that get to talk about these issues. And you want to let off some steam. You want to say your piece. Come on over. Come on over. We want to hear it. We want to hear what you have to say. For those that are not keen on it, that's fine. We'll see you in the next one. We've got a holiday coming up. I guess Tuesday is Lies and Alienation Day. Sorry, truth and reconciliation. I don't know. Has anyone heard any truth or reconciled with anybody? I think more people are alienated because of this so-called holiday that we have, but it is a stat holiday, so there's going to be some time off. I don't think I'm going to take time off. We'll see. I'll probably put a video out Monday morning, so pay attention to that. And I'm going to, yeah, it's Justin Trudeau surfing day. That's right. So do your land acknowledgements. I did a big land acknowledgement at the conference. I made sure everybody knew that we were on the lands that were once occupied by the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That majestic creature ruled those lands for, I think, a few million years and was cut down in his prime. So just make sure that you're giving credit where credit's due, I guess. I don't know. These are things that we do. This is weird times that we live in, but I like to give that out. One last one from Neil from the Hill for 2 says Brampton will be a ghost town. Yeah, if ICE moved in. Wouldn't it ever be? But yeah, thank you guys all. I see you all with the with the comments. Love having you. It's great. Awesome show, buds. Awesome. We'll see you guys all in the next one. Everybody, keep on trucking.